So happy to see such a good strength. Um, is it audible? Last week, I find that good. Yeah, myself, Ajesh Kumar Radhakrishnan, working as a software engineer in RedBlackTree technologies for the past 1 year, and started getting into the React Native in my fourth project. And for the past 4 to 5 months, I was working as a developer in the React Native. I was making some small researches, and previously I had worked in Android projects as well. So the React Native is a new young technology in comparing with the things which I had experienced and worked in the previous years. So here there is a mix and match of different developers like Android developers, web developers, Python developers, everything else. And for few of you, the React Native is a very new things, and for most of the people, it is a very repeated technology. So you had all experienced with the React Native by having some projects, so some live demos, some meetups, everything else. So I was making it as a common. I was again repeating the same to those people who know the React Native and giving a new tips and points to the people who are going to learn it from the scratch or for who the React Native is new. Okay, I'm going to give you a short introduction about the React Native, how it came. So what is the React Native, what it gives for the developers, and what's the difference between the existing technologies and the competitive technologies. As it is a mobile app technology, then how it is competing with the native apps, all these stuffs like that. So I know each and every technical concepts will have questions in your minds. So I like to have the question session at the end of my presentation. So it will be very convenient for me to answer for your each and every questions and the same. Okay, fine. Uh, yeah, this is first slide. React Native, it's an open source technology. See, it's not a proprietary. As it is an open source, everyone can get the code from the GitHub and try to get your own technical knowledge and put your creative thoughts and create a new app, because this is an open source technology. This technology, this open source framework React Native, is a good gift for the web developers, especially who trying to create a new apps, because most of the web developers will not have the, and it's not the exact thing, will so few of the developers won't have the knowledge about the mobile apps, how to create a new mobile app, how to create an app in the Android, how to create an app in the iOS, because they think they think the main real fact is to create an app in the Android or iOS. We need to know the technical structure, architecture, everything about the Android apps and the iOS app, how the native Android app works. For that, what are the environmental setup we need to do, for what are the environmental setup we need to do for the iOS, what are the softwares we need, every steps like that. The web developers will not be familiar, but they have the idea, they will get the opportunity, they may have supposed to create a mobile app. What they will do, so they need to learn a new technology, and they need to put some effort, and they need to keep on trying some things, and they need the proper support and help from the technical side of anywhere else in the world. So a web developer who is going to start to create a new mobile app, they don't want to spend more time in the real world, because this real world is moving on for the new technologies, which is giving more confidential and the technical support for the upcoming developers. See, I'm taking an example. A web app developer, he's creating some good and plenty of websites with the help of the HTML and CSS. And the revolution came to use the JavaScript inside the web development architecture to give it more efficient and run very fast. So web developers basically know the technologies of HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So those who know these bit and pieces of technologies and languages, if there is an opportunity to create a mobile app with their known technology, it's a very good gift for the developers. So you don't want to know the entire structure, how the Android app should be developed, how the iOS apps will be developed, what are the components we need to use. We don't want to confuse anything. So this React Native gives you the complete freedom for the web developers to create an app with their own technologies. So this is the main source and main theme of the React Native. Yeah. This is a quick rundown. See, after this meeting, if you want to get back to your place and you had decided to create a mobile app using the React Native in the sense, I'm very sure that you can do it with the Android and iOS very fast within an hour. You can release a build and you can put in your iOS app in the test flight as well as your Android build in the Play Store within an hour, because you are having this much friendly open source technology as a React Native with a very minimal technical knowledge. Okay, so this is a cross-platform. Cross-platform in the sense it will support both for the Android as well as iOS. So you may have some questions whether we are writing we are supposed to write this React Native app in Android or iOS. I need to learn some Swift or I need to learn some Java or anything else. Nothing. It's a cross-platform supported language which you are writing in a JavaScript. Basically, web developers, what we will do HTML, CSS and JavaScript to create a web page, right? So that basic JavaScript knowledge is enough to learn this React Native. 80% of the code, what you are writing in the JavaScript, it will work in the Android as well as iOS. But where is the 20%? This 20% is a native support. See, the Android application and the iOS applications is not similar, but even though both are the mobile apps having the same functionality, there are some device-oriented technical activities which they won't support for the other devices. It means an app which is 100% running in the iOS will never, I can't say it will never, it will run, but only 80 to 90% it will support in the Android devices, because some of the main factors which will be directly connected with the actual iOS device and the Android device cannot be done with the cross platforms. This is a 80% core share between the iOS and the Android. It means, I'm clearing the point again, you are building an app in the React Native with the JavaScript and you are trying to run in the Android and iOS, 80% of the application will be successfully working. But only few things which is related with the native device oriented concepts will not be supported. That we will be explaining you in the end of the session. This imaging technology is introduced by the Facebook. So nowadays the number of users of the Facebook is millions and millions, and everyone of us having the app Facebook. If you have an app if anyone have a smartphone in your mobile, definitely you will have a app called contacts to call any members, and as well as a Facebook, because Facebook has spread all over the world. So as they are having the emerging and upcoming technologies, the users of the Facebook is increased, and they need to provide some new technical concepts to improve the Facebook for the users. So they started introducing React.js for the Facebook. So React Native came from the React.js. So React.js is nothing but, some of you may be familiar with the React.js. The main scope of the React.js is to provide very fast rendering the contents. So they are using the virtual DOM. So that's why the content from the server side or anywhere else is coming to and showing in the front end very fast. So like such a kind of things they are using in the web apps. So they introduce the same for the mobile apps with the name React Native. So this is introduced by the Facebook. Application runs. This React Native application runs simply very fast than any other native applications, because this app is a lightweight app. We are not having any that much weight. So some strong and healthy codes like Android native platforms like Java or say Objective-C for the Swift, anything else. This is a simple JavaScript language. So it is a very lightweight. So as it is a very lightweight language, it is very fast to compile or run anything else, and this is very comparatively very fast to create any apps. This architecture is also scalable. As it is an open source framework and it is a JavaScript, you can write your own architecture and you can extend the architecture of the React Native. See, if you are if you are creating an application and you have not supported, or if you don't have any sufficient components and you need to extend the technology in the sense, yes, React Native is creating a room to increase architectural design and helps you to create your own components and stuffs. And it's having some extensible libraries too, and the amazing part is it's have the BSD license. React Native is very cool. Why? We are having so many technologies, but why we are putting more effort to learn and know what is React Native? Something is there. Something is different between the apps which we are having in the previous days. Everyone knows that the web page, what we had developed, the web application can be directly converted to the mobile apps. We are having some old technologies like hybrid apps, which will be directly convert those things into native apps. Then why we are having the React Native? So what is there? The reason is the customer experience. The customer who want to get a mobile app should be very, what to say, on seeing an app for the first sight itself, he should be okay, happy. Wow, what an app it is, what a performance, or how fast it's working, how amazing it is, like this. So this smoothness is not available in the native apps. Why? Because the smoothness is not available in the hybrid apps. Why? Because the hybrid apps is directly converting the HTML CSS kind of scripts into the native apps. So what it happens, it's directly converting a web page into a mobile screen. So this direct conversion will not support for the all kind of native applications, because the smoothness, the fast, the retrieval of the contents, everything will be affected when it is converting from directly from the web application to the hybrid and native apps. So to learn this React Native, which hitting the disadvantages of the hybrid apps and giving more advantages of the native apps, it's very easy to learn. Those who know the JavaScript which you are using to do the normal HTML web page is enough to learn about the React Native. So once you started doing this React Native apps, write a single code that will run both in the Android and iOS. So you just write some script with the JavaScript, which will have the React Native components, and it will be helpful to run in both the Android and iOS. Here I'm supposed to point out an important thing that you may ask, hybrid apps are directly converting the web pages into a mobile apps. But what React Native do? In the sense, React Native having the same ability to convert the HTML page into app screen, but the hybrid apps directly showing the HTML tags like div tags, paragraph tags directly as it is in the native apps. It's not converting the HTML tags into any other tags. But what React Native do? React Native converting the HTML tags into the native components. See, div tag, it is a HTML tag that will not support in the mobile app. We are not having div tags in any mobile apps like Android or iOS or Linux platforms. So how the div tag component will be shown or will be displayed in the screen of a mobile app? So what is this? What's happening in the React Native means React Native having some components, specific terms called components. These HTML tags like div, paragraph, image tags are having a similar components in the React Native. I'll give you an example. So to show two different parts in a web page, we'll be using some div tags, div1 and div2. When you convert into a mobile app screen, hybrid apps will show the same div into mobile screens. But what React Native do in a sense, converting the div tags into views. So here in HTML you are using div, but in the React Native you are using the views. So what view does the same thing, the same functionality what the div tag does for the web pages. So like this, each and every tags of the web page having a similar tags in the React Native. So React Native has its own component to design a screen. So what are the things you are supposed to use to create a web page in a HTML, there are similar tags called as React Native components that will allow you to create a screen that is 100% same as a native app screen. So you have the same smoothness, same flow. It's very, very fast than the hybrid apps. So that's why it is called the native app. That's why it's competing with the native apps. Hard reloading. See, if once you started developing the Android app or an iOS, you will be creating the screens. You will take more effort to bring the actual design what you having in your mind. You will have a wireframe in your mind, and you will be trying to design the same wireframe in your Android and iOS. So what you will do, you'll be creating some components and some things, Java screens, everything else. So it will take more time to development. See, if it's taking for an hour to develop a single screen or a couple of hours to develop a single screen, and it's taking 15 to 20 minutes to run the application or debug the application, in the sense, it's very much frustrating for the users, and the user won't take such kind of technologies, and users won't support this. See, if anyone want to get into the new technology, in the sense, the new technology should create a room, and new technology should provide some additional facilities which is not available in the existing technologies. React Native is providing such a good performance for the developers. It's giving a very minimal runtime and compilation time when comparing with the any apps. In React Native, if you want to debug the app or if you want to compile the application, immediately what are the changes you had made in your script will be running and compiling within a second with the help of hot reloading. Hot reloading, in the sense, it's nothing. When you develop an app in the React Native, you are writing some JavaScript codes with the React Native components, and you are compiling with the help of running with the help of the simulator or any other mobile devices. You just enable the live reloading option in your mobile. See, if you shake your mobile which is connected with the device, or if you are using the Mac machine, in the sense, just press the Control and D, a pop-up will be available in your screen, and it will ask for the live reload. Once you click the live reload and enable the live reload in your app or in your device, what it happens, immediately what are the changes you are making in your script, you just press the Control S and save the content, it's automatically rerun in your app. So you don't want to spend more time to see all the compilations running every steps, nothing. Why this? Because React Native executes and runs only at the runtime. The basic screen, the screens what you had designed and what are the things you had added, all JavaScript engines happen only at the time of the runtime. So the running time is very fast. It is because of the JavaScript. That's the main feature of the hot reloading, which is not available in any other platforms. UI components. As you are having all the UI components as in the native apps like Android and iOS, you are having the UI components like buttons, views, menu bars, camera, video, everything. All the UI components which is supporting in the native apps is available in the React Native as its own component, not as a native component. You don't want to write 10 lines of code. You don't want to write add a library for that. Just what you are using for the web development. If you want to add a text box, in the sense, you will have a text tag. If you want to add in a button, you are having button tags. If you want to add in an image, you will having image tags. Like that, in React Native, you are having the React Native component tags that will support you to give a amazing UI which is similar to the native apps. So this is a UI component which wraps the existing native technology. Next. Yes. How is React Native different from the native apps, iOS, Android, PhoneGap, Xamarin, hybrid apps? Yes, I had mentioned you previously. The hybrid apps have the disadvantage of the customer experience. It's not having the actual smoothness of the native apps. That's why hybrid apps are becoming unfamiliar these days, and technologies like React Native is coming up with new features. See, iOS and Android is ancestral technologies which we are having for a very long time, and we are very familiar with the iOS technologies like that. it's having so lot of features. At the same time, we are also having Android, which is also having a lot of features. And when comparing the iOS and Android, the types of devices is very less in the iOS, and we are having plenty of devices for the Android. The different screens, devices I'm mentioning about the different screen sizes. So in Android, you can it's more than 15 screen, 15 more than 10 to 15 devices are available in the Android, but in the iOS we are having some 6s, 5s, 4s, these kind of technologies. But the React Native, what it helps you to do in the sense, you are writing a single page, a single script in the Java JS, and you can run in any platform. It means you can run, it will support for the all type of devices. I hope when you step into this meeting, you had a registration desk, and I'm sure you will be registering in a mobile app, registration mobile app. So that app is completely 100% created with the React Native. So what we did, we created a single JavaScript page that will have the React Native components, and we execute the script with the iOS and Android. So it support both for the tablet as well as the normal small screen mobile screens. So it takes just a 45 minutes for us to create a screen and add the API call for the backend and to store all the registration details in the backend. So it is very simple. That's what I'm telling. If you can get back to your place and you started creating a new React Native app instance, it's hardly take an hour or a couple of hours to create an application. But this is not possible in the technologies, or it is not possible in the other native apps or any hybrid technologies with the same smoothness. Next. Yeah. This is the native apps architecture. You will have the application, you have the third-party libraries and the developer SDKs and the standard libraries in the third model, and the supporting mobile OS, whether it is an iOS or Android, will be in the lower level. Before that, you will having the SDKs, what kind of SDKs you are using to run the application and for the development in parties, and you will having some third-party libraries to have some smoothness in the native apps, and the application contains all the part of the native app. So we are going to see the comparison between the native apps architecture and with the hybrid apps. After that, with the what is the special thing we are having in the React Native. Yes, this is a hybrid app architecture. The same thing where app will have a mobile development framework, something like Godot or something, and then the framework compatibility libraries. This is not the third party, any third party libraries, that framework compatibility libraries and a WebView API. So as I told you, the thing what you are developing in the .html page, it's converting into the HTML with the help of the views, web views. So the HTML content is converted into the mobile app screen with the help of this web view. This web view is available in the hybrid app. This is a main core which converting the top layer into the app screens. This web view will be split into the supporting for the iOS SDKs and the Android SDKs, and it will have the native OS capacity. Next. So this is a React Native app architecture. For the iOS and Android, same thing. There is no difference. What your application structure available for iOS, the same application structure for the Android. You will have NPM packages, all the models and all the components and the what are the additional attributes you are going to add in your React Native application is done with the help of the NPM packages. So we are having everything as a package for the React Native, for example for the camera libraries and for the new buttons, responsive images, all the stuffs are available as a NPM packages. Even the React Native is also an NPM package. This packages join with the third-party components and the third-party libraries which will support for the both iOS and Android frameworks, which is not available in the hybrid and the native apps. This is a main common difference we have for the main common architecture which we follow for the iOS and the Android. Next. Yeah, I had used so as a theoretical part. So I'm asking Arpuraj to have a quick and small crispy demo about the React Native app. So he'll be explaining you how to start a React Native app and how to make a single screen and what are the components available in the JavaScript, what you need to add and what is all if you started running an application for the initial stage, what will be available in the screens and what you should do to go forward. Everything else will be explained by him. Smoothness in the native apps, and the application contains all the part of the native app. So we are going to see the comparison between the native apps architecture and with the hybrid apps. After that, with the what is the special thing we are having in the React Native. Yes, this is a hybrid app architecture. The same thing where app will have a mobile development framework, something like Godot or something. And then the framework compatibility libraries. This is not the third party, any third party libraries, that framework compatibility libraries and a web view API. So as I told you, the thing what you are developing in the .html page, it's converting into the HTML with the help of the web views. So the HTML content is converted into the mobile app screen with the help of this web view. This web view is available in the hybrid app. This is a main core which converting the top layer into the app screens. This web view will be split into the supporting for the iOS SDKs and the Android SDKs, and it will have the native voice capacity. Next. So this is a React Native app architecture. For the iOS and Android, same thing. There is no difference. What your application structure available for iOS, the same application structure for the Android. You will have npm packages, all the modules and all the components and the what are the additional attributes you are going to add in your React Native application is done with the help of the npm packages. So we are having everything as a package for the React Native. For example, for the camera libraries and for the new buttons, responsive images, all the stuffs are available as a npm packages. Even the React Native is also an npm package. This packages join with the third-party components and the third-party libraries which will support for the both iOS and Android frameworks, which is not available in the hybrid and the native apps. This is a main common difference we have for the main common architecture which we follow for the iOS and the Android. Next. Yeah, I had explained you so as a theoretical part. So I'm asking Arpuraj to have a quick and small crispy demo about the React Native app. So he'll be explaining you how to start a React Native app and how to make a single screen and what are the components available in the JavaScript, what you need to add and what is all if you started running an application for the initial stage, what will be available in the screens and what you should do to go forward. Everything else will be explained by him.
That was created as a single page application. So that contains a single page with the form, with the validations and the API request. With the API request, it saves the data in the form and returns a success message. So as Rajesh referred before.
So before moving to the core development, so as we know this React Native runs on JavaScript. So what is the basic requirement for to run a JavaScript is that we need to install React Native command line interface. So that is the first requirement to create a React Native application. The second one is the Node.js. So we need to install Node. So React Native only supports above from 4.0 to above newer versions. So we need to set up the thing. Just a live demo, I'll just show you from scratch. So as I already installed this command line interface and Node.js. Sorry. just, just, yes. So as I installed this command line interface before and Node.js, so my Node.js version is 7.0. So it supports React Native application. To create a I'm just creating a new application, which is the command is React is a native init the project name. So I'm just keeping a project name as meetup for now. So it creates for me a new folder with the folder applications. So this may take a little bit time for a second or minute. So just hold on, it's creating a new React Native application.
Excuse me, I have a question. So since you said if you have a remote package, you can install. So you have been telling that if you have npm packages, you will be having React Native in it, right?
No, it's not.
Uh,
Yes, after you install this node, you will have a React Native thing. So for React Native, we need a command line interface for the React commands to work.
okay. So is it not same, not achievable in Yarn packages or?
Yes.
Yarn is basically a caching mechanism. So basically, it even fetches from NPM. And,
Yeah,
cache
but
it. So all the sources will be NPM. So it will be possible.
okay. So yeah,
Yarn works.
Yarn works, right?
In the next session, we have actually built the application with Yarn installation instead of NPM. Sure. That's all.
Wait a minute. Okay. I'm just opening up the folder and Sublime Text and show you the structure. So, application. So here you can see the separate folders for iOS and Android, and files like indexios.js and indexandroid.js. So these index files were referred to as like from web development. So we usually have an index file from where it gets starts working. So as like this, platform of iOS and Android for their initiative. So we created a new React Native app, so that will create this. So from this we need to install this npm modules. So I'm installing npm modules inside React Native code. Yes, just. Is it? Sample React Native application is set it up. So to run this React Native application, we need to have React Native as we so this will compile your code and start your simulator with the code. So for the first time, it takes a little more time on compiling all those code in the npm modules. So those loading. Rate. So it starts up this React Native sample application. Sample application given by React Native. So as I said before, that takes from index.io.js. Okay. So as Ajay referred before, what is hot reloading in the sense if you want to do any change as a difference from the native thing. So if you do a change, you need to rerun whole app. So for a single change. But in React Native, so by using hot reloading, we can do a reload as you save your code. So before to enable that, we need to do this control D in your stimulator. So that will open up for an option. Yeah, this there's a live reload which is already enabled in the stimulator before. So it's asking for disable. You already enabled it. So this is a running app which is enabled with live reload. So if you do any changes in your iOS code, for example, I'll just so there's a text called welcome React Native. I'll just expand it. So if I just change this code to welcome to React Native Meetup. So if I do a save in this file, the build will automatically get updated. So this is what live reload does. So it won't make your whole application to run again. So that then if you want to create your iOS build, you will find an Xcode project in it. So as we go through your registration app, I'll just show you how it is partitioned of the project. So just a sec. So this is the code base of the registration app that we have right now in the apps. So inside this you can see this iOS Android devices. So for both iOS and Android, so we are just making an app.js to render it. So as like in index file, we refer to something else which is common for iOS and Android. So this refers to an app folder, and this app gets installed for both iOS and Android. So as we mentioned in their index files, so this app.js gets executed. So from the top, so these imports were the third-party libraries that are needed for this, and this is variable declaration, and this is the class which extends the components. Here we have this variables, state variables, where if some action happens on the form, this will get updated. So and the next part is the validation form, where we have these validations, and the submit form action. As the submit form will post an Ajax call to the URL and saves the data, returns the data, and the alert message is thrown as thank you, welcome to React Native Chennai. So this submit form is what is. So and this whole thing is rendered as the view of your application. So as explained before, this is equivalent to a div tag in the HTML. You can so this is mostly equivalent to your HTML tag, which is equivalent mostly equivalent to this view tag, and the image tag is equivalent to this kind of image tag where they put style, background, everything, source. So this mostly related to this HTML thing. So it's like text field.
So as you see, we implemented the CSS in the style tree. So this will refer to your style. So as a reference, like as we use it in class in HTML. So we refer this using this names in style tree. So these are also mostly common the graph, but there is slight difference with the property names like background color. We use it as background icon color. So this is the code base of this thing. So if you want to run it through Xcode, so I'm opening Xcode. So from this you can add a open new project. So your iOS build will be here in this folder. As I told before, this method is of the React Native thing. So iOS brings the iOS related to iOS build. And for Android, we will have an Android folder where you can have this Android native thing. So for to run an iOS build, so I'm just running to Xcode project. So open up in Xcode. So here I have selected iPad Pro. So I'm running out the application. So it's open up in iPad.
Where can you mention all those components? Keyboard not view, like all those components you have mentioned in that archives.
Yes.
Yes, we are having that component of this kind of things because have you seen the registration app? Have you registered in this app? So it's nothing. If you are registering in this app, once after registration or in between the registration, if you tap outside the content, the keyboard displays goes up. So this kind of component, this is the component what you might have. Right?
Yeah, is it default components like keyboard avoiding use of default with React Native? Or
Yes. It's a default.
Okay, where
It's
can
like
you
we are
mention all
having the
those
both
default?
JavaScript as well as React Native. What are the ways it is support for the JavaScript? It's supporting for the React Native, and React Native will have its own components.
Okay, where can you find all those components? Keyboard avoiding view and that.
It's all available in the API modules. And for the React Native documentations, they had specifically mentioned what are the components that are available in the React Native.
Yeah, I just saw the website. I didn't find the keyboard avoiding view.
Sorry?
Just on the documentation website, I didn't find the keyboard avoiding view in that tutorial.
Okay, we will let you know the exact documentation link.
I think a repository of all the document links will be posted in the group, so keep following the group, you will get all the documentation.
There is not only this particular component, we are having a lot of components. Once you started creating your own app, you will be came to know what are the things which hidden in the React Native. All things are not visible in any other languages. All the languages will have some things which is hidden inside the applications. Once you started doing the applications and once you started improving the components in your applications, then you will be getting these kind of things. Seen a red color screen, right? This is a error screen. So it will show the description, what's the error, how it came, why this error, everything else. So if you have any warnings instance, it will show you a yellow color screen with a white text and the content description about the warnings, why it came, everything stuff like that. So each for the web developers, how we will be debugging the app. We will go to the browser and inspect element. We will be seeing the console logs, everything else. The same facility is available in the React Native also. So if you want to debug the application, you don't want to make more struggle. You just write a console.log in your script and just connect the application with the Chrome browser, and you can see the every editable things, and you can easily debug the error codes in the console log itself, like all the web apps session. So we will be showing all these things in this live demo app, how the registration app works. with the next slide. Okay. So I welcome you to question.
So I understand the concept as it is. What happens in the case of um, OS level concepts as such? Like take Android for example, you have services. I'm not sure if that is present on iOS or not. So consider you're trying to build an application that collects location data in the background. Say that you're moving and it collects location data in the background. The way you do that in Android is to have a service that's running that picks up data and things like that. But services are not a common thing across iOS and Android. Correct me if I'm wrong, I might be wrong. So how would you achieve something like that with React Native? Is that possible, or is it only like is it only like a common things that are the set of concepts that are common to both iOS and Android is the only thing that can be achieved through React Native?
Yes, this is a wonderful question. I had mentioned in my third slide itself, this React Native supports only 80% of the native apps components. The 20% is the things what you are asking for. And Android have its own functionalities which is available, not available in the iOS, and iOS will not support the Android functionalities like this. So that's the 20% remarks. So there is a possible solution to get this problem solved. How is it? We need to write a separate business logic for this. Where the Android supports its own nativity and the iOS supports its own nativity, you should write only the mobile devices differentiate in business logic. This will working fine. See, with the help of the React Native, as this is a upcoming technology, they are trying to get solutions for such kind of things. At the same time, with the help of React Native apps, there is very less possibility to create an app for gaming and for the augmented reality stuffs like that. So it's directly have some native features, which is the Facebook developers and the React Native groups, they're trying to get forward to solve such kind of things. Is it clear? Yes, it's welcome.
I'm actually I'm not an Android developer. I'm basically coming from .NET developer. I'm almost 10 years experience with .NET development, and I don't know Android very well. And services is an old technology in Windows itself, and for Android it's also the same. Okay, and for the React Native, there's a thing called headless.js. It has been introduced with version 36, I believe, React Native. And with that, you can run your application in background. And with your things like location-based notification, we have been built this for, I think, last month we have launched it. But without the background services, we are trying to implement with headless.js. So I think I have answered your question.
Initial screen which triggers this service would still be in React Native. But when the service is launched, then React Native would call into something like a Java routine. Am I wrong? Okay.
And at the same time, audience, if you have any points to discuss with any of us in the sense, just step forward and share your knowledge, please.
I'm not sure. I read in Quora that about Xamarin yesterday. Even in Xamarin, they support cross-platform, and the performance level is a bit same like React Native. I want to know more about information about Xamarin and React Native, the difference. How React Native is better. Now the Xamarin is open source, bought by Microsoft, and it supports Windows also, Windows platform OS also. Then how React Native will be better? Is it better?
Yes.
Hi. Hello. Okay. Actually, you asked about Xamarin, right? Actually, React Native is Windows support is coming. It's under development. You can see the repository. React Native will soon support Windows Phone operating systems. And from what you asked for why people are going to React Native and have Xamarin, it's because React Native is based on JavaScript. It's actually everywhere. JavaScript is everywhere. It's really easy to learn. Plus, it's based on the React framework. React it uses virtual DOM. Plus, the rendering is fast. Plus, you get the reactivity of a web application. You understand it? Facebook's main reason for going to React.js is because they expected the reactivity, modern RxJS concepts and all. So React Native brings that performance and agility to the mobile apps. So that's the reason why people are adapting to React Native instead of Xamarin.
Is performance better than Xamarin?
No, I wouldn't be comparing those performance. I'm saying that the reactivity, in the sense you need to trigger an event, you need to perform an animation and all, it actually maps the actions to the native components. Okay, so it's definitely more efficient compared to other frameworks.
No, Xamarin is it's completely based on .NET Underwood technology. Okay, and you would have some benefits if you are a .NET developer, if you are a Java developer. Xamarin. Again, Xamarin is a funded company and has been acquired by Microsoft, and you would get enormous support with Xamarin and all. Okay, and they have acquired I think almost for $2 billion. Okay, and with the React Native team, React Native JS team with Facebook, they are almost 30 plus I believe. Okay, so you will get a lot of support from Xamarin. And what I would answer your question is like both of the learning time and the performance with Xamarin and React is same. Okay, when you go to upworks.com and all to get knowledge for React Native and Xamarin development, people are asking about like, hey, can you build a develop an app using Xamarin or React Native? So people are already open with it. So customers are very happy if you are going to give a shareable code between two platforms. Okay, so there is only two technologies available now, and that is Xamarin and React Native.
Then about the update React Native, update is coming very frequent.
Yes, update is coming very frequently, and they like last from December they have reduced the speed actually. Like for per month previously they used to release 4 releases. Now they are releasing 2 releases. And the other thing which I used to hate with React Native is like when you are upgrading your existing versions with new versions, the app used to break. Actually, that's actually they are trying to solve now. I think there are some open source developer have already given solution. I haven't checked it, but that is the only major problem with React Native. And with Xamarin, one of my other developer in my team, he has already developed an app with for a brand called BDM. You probably hear about them. And so far, both are same. That's what we are feeling. Like for .NET developers, that is Xamarin, and for JS developers like the HTML5 AngularJS guys, React Native is easy.
And the UI we can develop in React Native and Xamarin. The UI, the animation, the graphics, both how can you differ it?
Animations for React Native, there are a lot of efforts going on. Even this week, Airbnb launched their own animation-based UI for React Native and iOS frameworks. So there are a lot of developments going on for React Native. And Xamarin, they are basically coming up from the core. So you can also do the same, I believe. But here they are trying to solve it from the JS side. Okay, so there are a lot of stuff, developments going on the animation side of React Native. But Xamarin, I think you can also do the same thing, actually, but you can get the support from the actual development team also, because they are having a big team.
I think there's a lot of, we see a lot of support for graphically intensive apps, augmented reality apps, things like, apps like your Pokemon Go, etc. There's React Native is probably not the first platform you choose today if you're going to start out building an app of that sort. But later this year, you're going to see a lot more stuff coming from Facebook, from the React team there on that front. So, what I hear.
One of the things, so we've written a little bit of Xamarin as well because we are a .NET house. So that was like the first sort of thing to go to because .NET, Xamarin, you already get it for free. So one of the things is that it's really convenience at one point in time because so it was very easy for us to get that confidence because we write C# already as it is on a daily basis, and then we are now able to write C# and get a mobile application. That's sort of bonus for us. So another important detail is the fact that the Xamarin code translation happens at time. Right? Compiles it into whichever platform is required and things like that, and that's how it runs. But like they mentioned, the whole component of hot reloading and stuff you miss in Xamarin because you have to go through that compilation process.
Native React talk in that Flipkart hosted, and one of the developers there speaks about how the entire Myntra app is actually a React Native app. And I'm sure most of you have used the Myntra app, right? So the Myntra app is almost a 50-60% code share between iOS and Android. And it's extremely easy for them to update their app because it's basically a bundle that's sitting somewhere on the cloud. And then if they want, and every time the app starts up, you just go check for the bundle and then pick it up. Those are the things you'll miss in Xamarin because that is a complete code translation. So that's why someone would pick React Native over something like.
The code push bundle thing and all, and that is a technology, that's a framework coming from Microsoft itself. Microsoft code push, that framework is. You can have your Ionic apps, React Native apps, and all the apps in your JS bundles at cloud. Microsoft code push server. So we have been using it for the last 2 months. So for Xamarin, I think they are coming up.
Yeah, that's something
I don't know, maybe I'm a little biased in saying this, but generally our experience has been that when you use Xamarin, the apps are a little heavier, performance is a bit of an issue. Therefore, we tend to use React. It appears to be a lot more lightweight. It definitely performs faster, or at least it seems so. So maybe it's my bias, but
yeah, actually that's true. When we wrote it with Xamarin, actually the APK size was quite huge.
Yes.
And then we said, okay, screw it, let's see writing it in native. When we wrote it in native, it actually dropped to about less than 50%.
Yes. So we've had memory issues with apps we built with Xamarin and so on. So which is one of the reasons we tend to favor React a little bit more when you're starting off with a new project. Unless the person, the customer is sort of heavily invested in the .NET framework and they need Windows apps and stuff like that. So then maybe it fits well.
Okay. Shall we move on?
Okay, one more quick question maybe. So we've got one more quick presentation. We'll keep this quick. So
okay, we are just going to show a demo.
He's got one more question. So we'll just take that and then.
Yeah, I saw that Facebook Lite was just 1 MB, but when I created a sample app, this is the welcome app solution, it got 4 MB size. How is it possible?
Which one? This one?
Yeah, this one.
You get that one.
That is usual for every app. So you cannot, definitely if
People are only looking at downloadable size at the Play Store.
Yeah.
Okay, not after it's like WhatsApp, how much exactly is size. It's almost 200 MB, 150 MB like that. So it's usual for all the apps. For our apps, it's actually 10 MB size. And after installation, it would be around 30, 38 MB.
No, I'm saying that
APK size.
Yeah, so they would have obviously gone through a lot on their end to reduce the amount to remove everything that's probably not there in the welcome.
So you're talking about this registration app?
No, not the registration app. The sample welcome to React Native
Yeah, so very simply, one of the concepts that React inherently supports is